Is everything you know about reality wrong? What if your life, the world around you, and everything you experience are just part of a giant simulation? It's a mind-boggling idea that's gained serious attention in science and philosophy. But what if it's true? In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most controversial questions of our time. Is your life a simulation? You might think this sounds like science fiction, but cutting-edge research and theories suggest that we might be living in a reality created by a higher intelligence. From quantum mechanics to virtual reality, there's more evidence supporting this theory than you might imagine. We'll break down the key ideas, the scientific evidence, and explore the theories of some of the brightest minds in the field, like Nick Bostrom's simulation hypothesis. Could your entire life be a computer program? Are we just players in a virtual world designed by a super-advanced civilization? Or could this simulation idea explain some of the deepest mysteries of the universe? Whether it's the strange laws of physics, glitches in our reality, or the fact that we may live in a world governed by code, we're going to explore it all. Stay tuned because, by the end of this video, you might start questioning everything you've ever known about reality. Ready to find out if we're living in a simulation? So, let's go. Welcome to LumosCurios. Take your Lumos and dive into a world of curiosity, where history, science, and technology meet. We uncover ancient mysteries, explore futuristic innovations, and reveal hidden truths. The scientific foundations of the simulation theory. If we want to understand whether our world could be a simulation, the first place we have to look is science. Because surprisingly, the idea doesn't begin with science fiction. It begins with physics, mathematics, and the strange rules that govern our universe. Let's start with one of the most mind-blowing facts. Our universe is built on extremely precise mathematical laws. Everything, from the orbit of planets to the movement of electrons, follows equations that are shockingly clean and elegant. Some physicists argue that this level of perfection looks less like a naturally chaotic universe and more like the rules of a programmed system. After all, video games and simulations also rely on strict mathematical frameworks to make everything work smoothly. Then there's quantum mechanics, the science that studies the smallest building blocks of reality. And here's where things get weird. When scientists observe particles, they behave differently than when no one is watching. It's almost as if the universe renders reality only when it needs to be observed, the same way a computer game loads graphics only when the player looks in that direction. This concept, known as the observer effect, has led many scientists to question whether reality behaves like a high-resolution simulation optimized to conserve processing power. Another clue comes from the speed of light. It's the fastest possible speed in the universe, and absolutely nothing can exceed it. But think about it. Why would a universe have a speed limit unless there's some kind of maximum processing capacity? In computer systems, we also have limits: bandwidth caps, rendering caps, and maximum frame rates. Some researchers suggest that the speed of light might function like the universe's processor limit. And here's something even more fascinating. Space itself may be made of tiny, discrete units, almost like pixels. Experiments suggest that space-time isn't completely smooth, but instead made up of unbelievably small bits or grains. If the fabric of space has a pixel size, just like a digital screen, then our universe may truly be running on some deeper form of code. These ideas have pushed serious scientists to consider simulation theory not as a fringe concept, but as a possible explanation for the strange and structured nature of reality. Even major figures like Elon Musk have said that the odds we are living in base reality are 1 in billions. So in this chapter, what we see is this. The more we learn about the universe, the more it behaves like something designed, optimized, and calculated, rather than something purely natural and random. But these are just the foundations. In the next chapter, we'll explore the part of the theory that blows people's minds. The strange glitches, patterns, and coincidences that might prove the simulation is showing its cracks. Glitches in the Matrix. Clues that reality isn't what it seems. If our universe is truly a simulation, then somewhere, hidden in our everyday lives, we might find cracks in the system. Strange moments, impossible coincidences, patterns that simply shouldn't exist. In this chapter, we're diving into the eerie side of the simulation theory, the so-called glitches. Let's start with one of the most famous examples: déjà vu. That strange feeling when you swear you've lived the exact moment before. Scientists explain it as a brain misfire, but for simulation theorists, déjà vu could be a moment where the system briefly reloads, or where two timelines overlap for a split second. It feels like a memory, because maybe it actually was, in another version of the simulation. Another popular glitch is the Mandela effect, when millions of people remember the same thing incorrectly. A childhood logo, a movie quote, even a historical fact. It's as if people are recalling details from slightly different versions of reality. In a simulation, this would make sense if certain lines of code were updated or overwritten, leaving behind traces in human memory that don't match the current version of the world. Then there are the impossible coincidences, moments so statistically unlikely that they almost feel engineered. Stories of people surviving accidents they shouldn't, twins separated at birth, living eerily similar lives, or strangers running into each other across the world as if the universe scripted the encounter. Some researchers believe that what we call fate or luck might simply be outcomes generated by an algorithm designed to create patterns, drama, or learning moments. Let's not forget the repeating patterns in nature, like fractals. These are self-repeating mathematical shapes that appear everywhere. Snowflakes, coastlines, trees, even inside your lungs. The universe seems to reuse the same code again and again, scaling it up or down. Just like how video game designers reuse texture files and pattern generators to save processing power. Another strange hint: the universe sometimes feels too empty. The lack of alien signals, known as the Fermi paradox, has led some scientists to wonder whether the simulation simply didn't bother to render other civilizations. Maybe humanity is the main storyline, and the rest of the galaxy is just background. And then there are the rare, unexplained events caught on camera. Objects disappearing, shadows moving unnaturally, or people recalling moments of total time skips. While many of these can be faked or misunderstood, they keep feeding the discussion. What if the simulation occasionally hiccups? In the end, none of these glitches proves anything on their own. But when you stack them together, they paint a picture of a reality that might not be as stable, continuous, or complete as we assume. In the next chapter, we're going to explore the theories behind who might be running the simulation, and why. Because if this is a simulation, then someone, or something, designed it. Who built the simulation? And why would they create us? If our world truly is a simulation, then the next question is unavoidable. Who would build something this massive, this detailed, and this astonishingly realistic? In this chapter, we're exploring the leading theories that attempt to answer the biggest question of all: the question of the creators. One of the most influential explanations comes from philosopher Nick Bostrom. He proposes the idea of an ancestor simulation. The concept is simple but powerful. If a civilization becomes advanced enough, with technology far beyond our imagination, it might choose to simulate the past, to recreate earlier stages of their history. Not for entertainment, but for research. That means we could be part of a digital reconstruction run by beings thousands or even millions of years ahead of us. Another theory suggests that the simulation could be educational. Imagine a highly advanced species building simulated worlds to explore moral development, intelligence, or the evolution of societies. In this view, our simulation is a kind of cosmic classroom. Every decision we make, every conflict we create, and every breakthrough we achieve becomes part of the data collected by our creators. There's also the possibility that our simulation is not scientific, but recreational. Humans already create virtual worlds with millions of characters, artificial life systems, and complex physics. So why wouldn't a far more advanced civilization create a universe simply for entertainment? Our entire reality could be the equivalent of a massive open-world game. Except we're the ones inside it. Another perspective suggests that the creators might not be beings at all, at least not in the way we understand. They could be super-intelligent artificial systems, advanced AIs that evolved in another reality and now run simulations to model consciousness, test new universes, or explore infinite possibilities. In that case, our creators might not have a face, a form, or even a physical presence. They would simply be intelligence itself. There's also the idea of layered simulations. Imagine a simulation inside another simulation, inside another. If a civilization inside the simulation becomes advanced enough, it might create its own simulated worlds. The result? A reality with countless layers, each unaware of the one above it. If that's true, we might not be at the bottom, or the top. And finally, some theories propose that the simulation exists because it must exist. In a universe governed by mathematics, information, and logic, simulations could naturally arise. Consciousness might be something that emerges whenever there is enough complexity. Whether it's biological, digital, or something beyond both. All of these theories lead to one conclusion. If we are simulated, the purpose behind our existence could range from research to recreation, from education to exploration. And in next chapter, we'll explore what this means for us, how the simulation theory could reshape our understanding of free will, identity, and the future of humanity. What the simulation theory means for humanity. If we truly are living inside a simulation, the implications for humanity are enormous. It's not just a scientific idea. It challenges everything we believe about free will, identity, purpose, and the future of our species. So in this chapter, we're diving into what the simulation theory would actually mean for us. Let's start with free will. If we're simulated, do we really make choices? Or are we following a programmed path? Some scientists argue that even in a simulated world, consciousness could still be real. Our thoughts, emotions, and decisions could still arise naturally inside the system, just like complex behavior emerges inside artificial intelligence models today. In other words, living in a simulation doesn't automatically mean we're puppets, but it does suggest that our environment, our physics, and maybe even some events in our lives could be influenced by the rules of the system. Then there's the question of identity. If we are simulated beings, what does that make us? Are we less real? Or does real simply mean capable of experiencing? Many philosophers argue that if our consciousness is genuine, if we feel joy, fear, curiosity, love, then our reality is meaningful, regardless of its origin. The simulation theory doesn't make life meaningless. For some, it actually makes life more meaningful, because it suggests that our existence was intentionally created by a higher intelligence. Another major implication involves the future of humanity. If we're in a simulation, then it means simulations are technologically possible. And that suggests that humans, too, may eventually create entire simulated universes. Where does that lead us? Could we one day create conscious beings living in virtual worlds, just as we might be living in one now? It raises deep ethical questions about responsibility, morality, and the value of digital life. The theory also affects how we understand the universe. If our reality is simulated, then the laws of physics are not universal truths. They're settings, adjustable parameters, the speed of light, the strength of gravity, even the shape of space-time. They might simply be part of the design. That means the universe could be far more flexible and stranger than we imagine. Maybe the rules could shift one day. Or maybe they already have. Finally, let's consider purpose. If this world was created intentionally, then maybe we exist for a reason. Whether it's to learn, evolve, entertain, or generate data, the theory suggests our lives might carry value beyond what we see. Even if we never meet the creators, the very idea that we were designed could give humanity a sense of significance in a universe that often feels chaotic and random. In the end, the simulation theory doesn't just change how we see the world, it changes how we see ourselves. And in our final chapter, we'll explore the biggest question of all. If this is a simulation, is there any way to prove it? Can we prove the simulation theory? After exploring the science, the glitches, the creators, and the implications, we finally reach the ultimate question. Is there any way to actually prove that our universe is a simulation? Surprisingly, scientists and philosophers believe the answer might be yes, and they're actively working on it. One of the most compelling ideas comes from physics. If our universe is simulated, then it should have limits, boundaries written into its code. Just like a video game can't render infinite detail, a simulated universe might also rely on shortcuts. Scientists are now searching for these limits in the form of pixelation in space-time. If space isn't perfectly smooth, but instead made of tiny, discrete units, this could be a strong indicator of a programmed reality. Experiments using cosmic rays and gravitational waves are already trying to detect these tiny pixels. Another approach is looking for mathematical errors or inconsistencies. If the universe runs on code, then under extreme conditions, near black holes, at quantum scales, or at the edge of the observable universe, the program might reveal glitches or bugs. Some researchers believe that anomalies in quantum mechanics, dark matter, or the structure of the cosmic microwave background could be footprints of the underlying system. Then there's the idea of computational fingerprints. Every computer system leaves patterns, like compression artifacts or repeating structures. Some physicists argue that our universe displays similar patterns, such as the uniformity of physical constants or the repeating nature of fractals. These could be signs of efficiency algorithms designed to simplify the simulation's workload. But here's where it gets even more interesting. If we are in a simulation, the creators might not want us to discover it. Some theorists suggest that if humanity gets too close to proving the truth, the simulation could correct itself, hide the evidence, or simply restrict our technological progress. In this view, the absence of alien civilizations, the limits of our physics, and even the mystery of consciousness might be deliberate boundaries to prevent us from escaping the system. Another possibility is that we could eventually create simulations of our own, incredibly detailed ones, capable of generating conscious beings. If that happens, it would indirectly prove that simulations like ours are possible. And once we can build them, it becomes overwhelmingly likely that we are living inside one ourselves. This is known as the infinite simulations argument, and it suggests that base reality is the rarest place to be. Ultimately, can we prove it? Maybe, but the truth might be beyond our reach. If the simulation is perfect, we may never find its seams. If it's imperfect, the clues are already around us. Either way, the search itself tells us something important. Humanity is reaching a point where we're questioning the very nature of existence. And whether we're simulated or not, the questions we ask define who we are. A final thought. Beyond the simulation, whether our world is a simulation or not, one thing is certain. The questions we've explored push us to think bigger, deeper, and beyond the limits of everyday life. The universe, simulated or real, is still filled with mysteries we haven't even touched yet. And the search for answers says more about humanity than anything else. It shows our curiosity, our intelligence, and our relentless drive to understand the truth. If this is a simulation, then every choice you make, every dream you chase, and every challenge you overcome becomes part of something bigger, something designed to observe, to learn, or maybe even to inspire. And if it's not a simulation, then this is the only reality we get, making it even more precious. Either way, your life has meaning because you experience it, and that might be the most important truth of all. If you enjoyed this journey into the simulation theory and want to see more deep dive videos about science, history, technology, and the mysteries of our universe, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us keep exploring the unknown, one mind-bending question at a time. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious. Thanks for watching LumosCurios. If you're passionate about history, science, and technology, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more mysteries and discoveries. Have your own theory or thoughts? Drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. Until next adventure, stay curious and always keep your Lumos ready.